You're standing at the edge of a Midwest field after harvest. The crop is gone, the dust has settled, and somewhere in the back of your mind, you remember a machine that made it all possible. Not because it was the newest or the shiniest, but because it showed up when the weather window was closing, kept running when others didn't, and came back season after season without asking for much. Today, we're looking at 10 combine harvesters that American farmers still talk about, not ranked by sales alone, but by reliability, field capacity, ease of maintenance, and the kind of memory that sticks around long after the machine is gone. Some of these you've probably seen working, some you've heard stories about, and as we count down, the impact only gets bigger. Let's get started. Number 10. Gleaner F Series, the machine small farms could actually trust. If you grew up around smaller grain farms, this was the kind of combine you remembered by sound before you remembered the model name. The Gleaner F Series came out of Allis-Chalmers in the 1960s and stayed relevant well into the 1970s, built for the corn, soybean, and wheat farms that covered the Midwest. It ran between 90 and 120 horsepower. Nothing that would turn heads at a county fair, but that was never the point. The cab sat high, the sight lines were clean, and a farmer could pull it apart and put it back together without calling in a specialist. On a small operation where downtime meant lost acres, that mattered more than raw power. The Gleaner F didn't dominate the market. It just showed up every season and did the job. Number 9. Massey Ferguson 750/760, when simple power still mattered. Before electronics became part of every harvest conversation, farmers judged a combine by what it could keep doing after a long, dusty day. The Massey Ferguson 750 and 760 were built for exactly that test. Introduced in the mid-1970s across North America, these machines didn't promise breakthrough technology. They promised something harder to engineer, mechanical simplicity that a farmer could repair in the field with basic tools. When weather compressed the harvest window, reliability mattered more than horsepower. The 750 ran a 145 horsepower engine. The 760 pushed that to 165. Both used straightforward belt-driven systems and accessible service points. If a bearing wore out or a belt snapped during grain harvest, you didn't wait for a technician with a laptop. Some viewers have pointed out that Massey Ferguson machines don't always get the recognition they deserve. The 750 and 760 weren't the most advanced combines of their era, but they were among the most dependable. Number 8. New Holland TR Series, the twin rotor bet that changed expectations. Some machines are remembered because they worked. Others are remembered because they made farmers rethink what a combine could be. The new Holland TR Series, introduced in the 1970s, shook up expectations with its innovative twin rotor design. Rather than just focusing on raw horsepower, this machine changed how threshing and separation happened by improving crop flow inside the harvester. It excelled at handling the heavy demands of wheat and corn farms across the American Corn Belt, where larger capacity machines were crucial for timely harvests. This approach allowed farmers to process more grain without sacrificing efficiency or grain quality. New Holland's twin rotor concept remains influential, marking a clear shift towards smarter harvesting technology rather than simply bigger engines. Number 7. John Deere 6620. The upgrade farmers still compare to the 6600. Sometimes the machine people remember most is not the original, it is the version that fixed what farmers wanted more of. In 7th place stands the John Deere 6620, a combine that many grain farmers in Western Canada and across the US still mention when they talk about reliability in the field. Produced from 1975 to 1982, the 6620 was built as an upgrade to the already popular John Deere 6600. It featured a turbocharged engine that delivered around 145 horsepower and came with longer straw walkers designed to handle heavier crop loads without plugging. Farmers who ran both models often say the 6620 felt more capable in thick wheat and barley, especially during long harvest days when downtime meant lost income. Its price at the time ranged from $45,000 to $55,000, and approximately 22,000 units of the 620 were sold during its production run. When combined with the entire 6,000, 600, and 6,620 series, total production reached over 50,000 machines, a number that reflects how many farms trusted this design across North America. Number 6. Case IH 1000 460 Axial-Flow, the combine that made rotor talk mainstream. If you have ever heard farmers argue about rotor combines, this is one of the machines that made that argument unavoidable. The International Harvester 1000 460 Axial-Flow, introduced in 1977 and later carried forward under the Case IH brand, was not the first rotor combine ever built, but it was the first to convince large-scale U.S. corn and soybean farmers that rotary threshing could work reliably, season after season. Before the 1460, most combines used conventional cylinder and walker systems. The Axial-Flow changed that by feeding the crop lengthwise through a rotor, reducing the number of moving parts and improving grain separation. Farmers noticed fewer breakdowns, cleaner grain samples, and faster field speeds. By the mid-1980s, the 1460 had become a common sight across the Midwest. It did not just sell well, it shifted how farmers thought about threshing. The rotor was no longer experimental. It was a choice you had to consider. Number 5. Gleaner N6. Big capacity, big debate. Not every remembered combine is remembered only with praise. Some are remembered because they pushed capacity and created strong opinions. The Gleaner N6 arrived on North American fields in the early 1980s with a clear message: bigger is better. Developed around 200 horsepower and running headers up to 7.3 meters wide, it was one of the largest combines grain farms could buy at the time. Farmers who ran it on flat, open ground often swore by it. The sheer volume it could move through a field in a single pass was hard to argue with, but not everyone agreed it was the right machine. On rolling terrain or in wet conditions, that size became a liability. The N6 divided opinion the way only a truly ambitious machine can. You either loved what it could do, or you remembered exactly where it let you down. Around 18,000 units sold. That number tells you the N6 earned its place. The debate just never fully settled. Number 4. Claas Lexion. When European engineering entered the American conversation. On American farms, some machines stand out because they feel different the moment they enter the field. The Claas Lexion arrived in the United States in the late 1990s, bringing a design philosophy shaped in Germany. It wasn't built for small plots. It was built for speed, capacity, and long days in corn and wheat country. Custom harvesters noticed it first. They needed machines that could move through thousands of acres without slowing down. The Lexion delivered that. Its threshing system handled high volumes, its grain tank filled fast, and it kept working when other combines needed breaks. It didn't dominate the market overnight, but it changed the conversation. Farmers who had always bought American brands started asking questions. They wanted to know if European engineering could match their conditions. The Lexion proved it could. By the mid-2000s, it had earned a place in high-capacity fleets across the Midwest. It represented a shift not just in brand loyalty, but in what farmers expected from a combine. Number 3. John Deere 9600. The sound of big farm expansion. Before today's largest combines became normal, this was the kind of machine that made a farm feel like it had stepped into a bigger era. The John Deere 9600, launched in the 1990s, truly symbolized the rise of large-scale grain farming across the Midwest. Known for its distinctive cab design and unmistakable engine sound, it was a companion during long harvest days, cutting through vast fields of corn and soybeans. Unlike just another best-selling model, the 9600 represented a step change in capacity, helping farmers take on significantly bigger operations with greater efficiency. Its presence on American farms marked a shift in how grain was gathered, combining modern power with durability tailored for the demands of expanding acreage. Many who worked with it recall the days it made their farm feel larger and more productive, a machine that bridged traditional farming with the emerging era of agribusiness scale. Number 2. Case IH 2388, the workhorse farmers kept talking about. Some combines earn their reputation not in brochures, but in the number of seasons farmers are willing to keep them running. The Case IH 2388 built that kind of reputation across U.S. farms through the 1990s and into the 2000s. You hear farmers talk about it the way they talk about a truck that never let them down, not because it was the flashiest machine on the lot, but because it showed up every harvest and kept going. The Axial-Flow rotor system at its core handled corn and soybeans with a consistency that held up season after season, which is exactly why so many operators stretched their service schedules rather than trade it in. Resale prices stayed strong long after newer models arrived. Maintenance was straightforward enough that a farmer with a decent set of tools could handle most of it without calling a dealer. That kind of reliability doesn't show up in a spec sheet, it shows up in the conversations at the grain elevator in October. Number 1. John Deere 7720, 8820 era. The combine many American farmers grew up around. At number 1 is not just one machine, but an era many American farmers can still picture without needing a photograph. The John Deere 7720 and its successor, the 8820, dominated fields across the American Midwest throughout the 1980s. These combines became more than tools, they were part of family farms where generations harvested corn and soybeans side by side. Known for their reliability and impressive capacity, the 7720 and 8820 offered farmers a balance of power and simplicity that made maintenance and repairs manageable right on the farm. It wasn't unusual to find farmers tuning these machines themselves or sharing stories about the day's harvest next to the cab. Their presence shaped countless autumn seasons and left an imprint in the collective memory of rural communities. Choosing between raw power, straightforward repairability, or the nostalgic bond these harvesters inspire remains a debate among farmers today. But no matter the answer, the legacy of John Deere's 7720 and 8820 era remains a defining chapter in American agriculture. A combine isn't remembered just because it had more horsepower or a wider header. It's remembered because it showed up when the harvest window was narrow, because a farmer could fix it with basic tools when something broke, and because it worked season after season until it became part of the farm's story. On American farms, every region has its own legendary combine. The one that handled wet corn in Iowa, the one that cut wheat in Kansas heat, or the one that kept running when newer machines sat idle waiting for parts. Power matters, reliability matters, but so does simplicity, the kind that lets you keep working when the dealer is 2 hours away and the weather is closing in. If you had to choose one reason a combine deserves to be remembered: power, reliability, simplicity, or the memories it left behind, which one would you choose?